Number 888. Zacian, the warrior Pokemon. Known as a legendary hero, this Pokemon absorbs metal particles, transforming them into a weapon it uses to battle. I mean, that's kind of interesting because in the actual game, you have to go find its sword for it. So to know that this whole time it could have just made a new one, it's a bit of a quitter's attitude, I'm going to be honest here.
It wanted the first one.
The first one was rusty.
Well, Zacian is a master blacksmith, apparently. So I'm sure it could fix it.
That's true. And it does. I mean, once you actually give it to it, it does get a real glow up. It gets like an almost like kind of crown-like aesthetic to it.
Ooh.
It unbraids that little red braid thing on the side of it, which is an interesting thing for it to do.
It just lets its hair flow through.
Yeah, exactly. What are you thinking here, Ange?
You know, I have to say, looking at Zacian and looking at the Bulbapedia entry, I'm just thinking, why the hell didn't anyone tell me that there was a fairy-type legendary for Pokemon Sword Shield? I would have picked Pokemon Sword if I had known. I picked Pokemon Shield, and don't get me wrong, I love my Zamazenta. Her name is Zazie, and she follows me around like the big puppy she is. But if I could have Zacian, holy shit, I would have absolutely gone with Sword.
Okay, can I just give a counterpoint?
Mm?
They put this Pokemon on the box of the game, and you didn't know it was a fairy type. Doesn't that speak to a deeper issue here with Zacian, if you can look at it and totally miss that it's a fairy?
True.
So I found out from my research, and this frustrated and confused me and made me really beg the question, are the cis all right? This is meant to be basically the girl legendary, because they've decided at some point that of the two box legendaries, one is a boy and one is a girl. So this is the girl one. So all the descriptions are talking about how feminine it is. And I think that's why it's a fairy, even though it's essentially the same thing as Zamazenta, but with a sword instead of a shield.
Well, that's nonsense. They're both girls.
Yeah, exactly. And furthermore, they're dating.
What was your word for this Pokemon?
My word for this Pokemon was Excalibur. So Galar, being the sort of English-based region, is obviously going to draw on some Arthurian myths. So Zacian seems to be based around the concept of Excalibur as an ancient weapon, you know, and King Arthur's sort of disappearing one day and then eventually coming back to save everyone also ties in with that.
Right.
It seems to be that it might be a fairy type because it's also meant to be like the Lady of the Lake, you know, who's tied to Excalibur, who I guess you could consider a fairy. So, you know, there's a lot of interesting myth tied up in this design that I guess would initially go a bit over your head. But I mean, I think that's cool.
That is cool.
And obviously the wolf ties in with a lot of that sort of British legend. You know, it's often a common thing to put on your like family crest would be a wolf. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. Having said that, can I be real? I don't know about Zacian. I just don't know. It's not my favorite. It's like busy. It doesn't quite make me happy to look at. I'm sorry. I mean, in its imperfect form, it's kind of got like these weird scars and a bit of its ear missing, which just makes me sad. And then in its like all together form, like that's a bit nicer, but it's like really visually busy. So it's a little put off with Zacian. I do think it's better than Zamazenta, but not big winners for me. It also is hard to distinguish from Zamazenta in some ways. Like they're a little too similar to each other.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the picture of Zacian with the sword, and it's so cute. It's actually really adorable. It has like gold wings and a gold crown now, and it's just holding the sword hilt in its little puppy mouth. And oh my god, it's so cute.
Okay, I'm definitely hearing that Zacian's won your heart.
It's so adorable. That's fantastic.
Okay, well that's good to hear. I'm glad it's a winner for you. It is pretty cute.
Literally, it's so cute. Look at it. I'm going to send it. Hang on.
No, it does look really cute. I googled it too, again, to have another look. Zamazenta can't really measure up. There, I said it.
No, like the thing about Zamazenta though is it looks like it's like a dog that's been put into clothes that it doesn't really want. Like, look at it. It looks
Yeah,
disgruntled.
whereas Zacian's just playing fetch.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so cute. Sorry, I'm just kind of
I'm really glad you found something that makes you happy in these difficult times.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You should get yourself a Zacian.
I should.
For me, it's a solid 3.5 out of 5.
5 stars. 5 stars. Oh my god.
All right, that brings us to 8.5 out of 10.
Next.